Welcome to African Tales and Hearts, where love and destiny come alive. Today, we bring you a timeless tale of patience and perseverance, a story that has been told around fires and under baobab trees for generations. This is the story of how Tortoise earned his shell and why steady hearts always prevail. Gather close and let me tell you a story that has been passed down from our ancestors, from the days when animals could speak and the world was still learning its lessons. This is the tale of how Tortoise earned his shell and why patience, even today, remains the greatest of all virtues. As our elders say, the patient man eats ripe fruit, while the hasty one eats it green. Listen well. Long ago, in the great kingdom where the river meets the forest, all the animals lived together under the wise rule of the Lion King. In those days, Tortoise had no shell. His back was smooth and bare, and he moved slowly across the earth as he does today. Now the animals had grown restless. Hare, the fastest of all creatures, boasted from sunrise to sunset about his speed. Every morning, he would leap through the village, calling out to anyone who would listen. "No one can match my speed," Hare would shout. "I am the wind itself. Who among you dares to challenge me?" The other animals grew tired of Hare's endless boasting. Antelope shook her head. Leopard turned away. Even the birds in the trees grew weary of his voice. But one day, Tortoise, moving slowly through the gathering, spoke in his quiet, steady voice. "I will race you, Hare," Tortoise said calmly. The animals laughed until their sides ached. Hare laughed so hard he fell to the ground, kicking his legs in the air. "You?" Hare gasped between fits of laughter. "You who takes half a day to cross a single field? This will be the easiest victory of my life." But Tortoise did not laugh. He simply nodded and said, "We shall see what we shall see. As my grandmother taught me, it is not the speed of the journey, but the certainty of arrival." And so the great race was set. The course would run from the great baobab tree through the forest, across the river, and up the red clay hill to the acacia tree where the ancestors gathered. Lion King himself would judge the race at sunset 3 days hence. On the morning of the race, all the animals gathered. The sun rose like a golden drum over the horizon. Hare stretched and yawned, barely awake. "I could have slept another hour and still won this race," he boasted. But Tortoise was already at the starting line, his eyes fixed on the distant acacia tree. He had not slept. He had spent the night in meditation, asking the ancestors for strength and steadiness. Lion King raised his mighty paw and declared, "Let the race begin." Hare shot forward like lightning across the sky. In moments, he was a speck in the distance. The animals cheered and shouted, amazed at his incredible speed. But Tortoise simply placed one foot in front of the other. Step, step, step. Slow, steady, setting. Hare reached the edge of the forest in no time at all. He looked back and could not even see Tortoise in the distance. "That foolish Tortoise," Hare laughed to himself. "He probably hasn't even left the starting line. I have time for a nap, a meal, and still I will win." And so Hare lay down beneath a mango tree. The shade was cool. The grass was soft. His eyes grew heavy. Just a short rest, he thought. Just a moment. And Hare fell into a deep sleep. Meanwhile, Tortoise continued. Step, step, step. When the sun grew hot, he did not stop. When his legs grew tired, he did not stop. When other animals called to him from the sidelines, "Tortoise, why do you continue? Hare is far ahead," he simply replied, "I continue because I began." As the elders say, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step and continues with the second. Through the forest he went, one careful step at a time. Across the river, placing each foot with purpose. Up the red clay hill, though his legs trembled with effort. Step, step, step. The sun moved slowly across the sky. Morning became afternoon. Afternoon began to fade toward evening. When Hare finally woke, the sun was low in the sky, painting the clouds orange and gold. He leapt to his feet in panic. "I have slept too long," he cried. "But no matter, I am still the fastest. I will reach the finish line before sunset." Hare ran faster than he had ever run before. Through the forest, his feet barely touching the ground. Across the river in a single mighty leap. Up the red clay hill, his heart pounding, his breath coming in desperate gasps. But when he reached the top of the hill, what did he see? Tortoise, sitting peacefully beneath the acacia tree, exactly where the ancestors gathered. He was not out of breath. He was not anxious. He simply sat, waiting as the sun painted the sky in shades of orange and gold. "How?" he whispered. "How is this possible?" Tortoise looked at his old friend with gentle eyes and said, "I did not stop, my friend. While you slept, I walked. While you boasted, I moved forward. I may be slow, but I am steady. And steady wins the race." Lion King rose to his full height and spoke to all the animals who had gathered to witness the end of the race. "Let this be a lesson to all creatures, from this day until the end of days. Speed without purpose is meaningless. Talent without discipline is wasted. It is not the swift who always win, but those who keep moving forward, no matter how slowly." And then, something miraculous happened. The ancestors who had been watching from the spirit world were so pleased with Tortoise's patience and perseverance that they decided to grant him a gift. A warm light surrounded Tortoise, gentle as moonlight, and slowly, beautifully, a shell began to grow upon his back. It was strong and magnificent, decorated with patterns that told the story of his journey. Each line represented a step taken, each shape a moment of patience. A voice, ancient and kind, spoke from the heavens. "Wear this shell with pride, Tortoise. Let it remind you and all who see you that patience is not weakness. Patience is strength. Those who endure prevail." All the animals bowed respectfully to Tortoise, even Hare, who had learned his lesson. From that day forward, Tortoise wore his shell as a badge of honor, and whenever the animals grew impatient or discouraged, they would look at Tortoise and remember. The race is not always to the swift, but to those who keep running. And so, dear listeners, when life moves too fast around you, when others seem to race ahead, remember Tortoise. Remember that your journey is your own. Take your steps with purpose, move with patience, and trust that if you do not stop, you will arrive. As our ancestors taught us, hurry has no blessing. This story has been told for generations, and now I have told it to you. May you carry it in your heart and one day tell it to your own children. And that, dear ones, is why Tortoise wears his shell. Thank you for joining us at African Tales and Hearts, where love and destiny come alive. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs patience today. What lesson did Tortoise teach you? Let us know in the comments. Until our next tale, may you walk with patience and carry our ancestors' wisdom in your heart.